You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that's on all the time, anytime. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for all content. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell. Bring your sports game with Big Nate Sports Talk.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This is episode 18, season 14 of the podcast. And in this episode, we are previewing the championship game, the Iowa Hawkeyes versus the LSU Tigers. And before we get into that, there's a few things I would like to say up front. You should already have now seen episode 17 up already, recapping Final Four yesterday. The Maryland video, that'll be up as well. I'm going to also, too, probably tomorrow evening, later this evening, for the championship game for the men is tomorrow. We'll preview that and also recap that as well, the Final Four. And then after that, recap the championship, and that'll probably conclude season 14 on a high note. So, like I said, going into season 15, you'll see some cosmetic changes we're still working on in the background. So this is going to be a little different. Some things differently happening to the podcast. So in the meantime, let's just get into it. Number 3 LSU versus number 2 Iowa. If you'd have told me these two teams were going to be in the national championship a couple months ago, I would have thought you're crazy. I really, LSU, I kind of felt like was going to get to the national championship. I knew they were going to be in the Final Four. Iowa, I kind of didn't see them getting past the Elite Eight, maybe a Final Four, but both teams proved me wrong. And for me, how both teams got here is you have to look at it like this. The Iowa Hawkeyes are the best team right now. Your National Player of the Year, Caitlin Clark, and I took care of the business against South Carolina. She had the first 40-point game back-to-back, 41 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists. This is LSU's first national championship appearance. They beat the number 1 seed Virginia Tech. I thought it was a game of possessions. That's what won them the game. And they did a really good job in the fourth quarter. Alexis Morris in that game led all scores with 27 points. Andrew Reese gave me a good double-double. in her first in second year at LSU. They're just one game away from the national championship. For me, I think the keys to winning, if you're Iowa, is a couple things. I think you got to take you got to just kind of have to be you. I think the same game plan that worked against South Carolina, the defense may have to change. I think you can beat them not as closely as you did with South Carolina. Arguably, I know you're the best offense in the game. I really do think that if you're not LSU, you can't. You got to be careful. This can be a game of runs. Yes, LSU has played some stout defense these last 5 games, but this is a different team. I thought Caitlin Clark just had the closer badge in the fourth quarter. You have to take something away, whether it's the scoring or the passing. If I'm Kim Mulkey, I'm taking away her passing. But I really think also, too, we're not really giving Monica Sanano her flowers, who's second on the team with 17 points and 8 rebounds a game. She finished with 18 in that game. McKenna Warnock is the third scorer on the team. So it's going to be interesting to see how she'll get those others involved. I really think South Carolina lost because Iowa dared them. Those that are non-shooters to shoot the ball, and if you're LSU, you can't let that happen. Yes, they got killed on the boards, and LSU is a top 5 rebounding team, and for me, you're not going to be able to do that against the Gamecocks if you're LSU. So I'm really curious to see how you're going to guard this team that's a little bit more bigger than South Carolina, is a little bit more athletic. I think if you're LSU, I think everything goes to Angel Reese on both sides of the ball. I mean, they're arguably the best 3-point shooting team. Even though they can't space the floor out, they can get to the line pretty quickly, quite frequently. So I'm curious to see how the officials call this game. I know they're like in the top 5 in free throws, but they're a good rebounding team. For me, I really do think that this is experience for Kim Mulkey. She's been in this position before. The last time she was here was 2019 when she was coaching at Baylor. I mean, this is Coach Bluter's first appearance in the 20 years she's been a head coach. So I really do think that it's going to come down to a couple things. I think if you're at Iowa, you can't play the same defense you played against South Carolina. You're going to have to fit Caitlin Clark. It has to be the others around Caitlin. It's going to have to be McKenna. It's going to have to be Monica. It's going to have to be those girls. They're going to have to step up. I think going to come out aggressive with the defense. I think your defense is going to dictate the pace of the game. If you're LSU, it's going to come down to just making timely shots, taking advantage of the inside, get to the line, and let your defense win. I think it's going to come down to defense. I think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to a game of runs. I'm not really sold on the fact that here's a defense. I just think LSU has a little bit more. I really do. I really can't see what I saw against Virginia Tech, LSU in the fourth quarter. That defense really stepped up. And I really, really think that's going to be the key. So I'm going to say the LSU Tigers are your 2023 Women's National Champion. Final score, 83 LSU, 75 Iowa.
Guaranteed.
I just think that's the key for me. I really think that both teams are just peaking, but I just see something in LSU where I think they have a little bit more that on both sides of the ball. they're dominant. So with that being said, that's going to transition us into our last topic of the podcast. This very, very brief episode. Final message.
Incoming message.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so it took some time to find a minute or two to organize them.
Both. I really had to give a shout out to Angel Reese. The year that she's having, I would not have expected it. I would on this level. I wouldn't know what it would look like this year if she stayed at Maryland. But I'm proud that she's put in the work and she's put in the world on notice. She has the case. If you ask me, she could definitely be a top 3 WNBA draft pick. But she took a chance. She walked out on faith and the ability to just play her own game and more importantly, just wear emotion on her sleeve. I think that's something that's very, very important. And I'm proud of her. I know she's going to make the city of Baltimore really happy. But more importantly, for herself, because there's been a lot of critics on her this year, good and bad. But that's unfortunately when you're deemed a great player, you get all the praise and all the criticism. That's unfortunately that's just how the world works. Some of it I think it's unjust. Some of it I think it's unfair. But that's the reality of being a star. So I wish her all the best. And also, too, shout out to her mom. Really nice woman, UMBC's finest. Best of luck to both teams. Should be a good game. We'll be back with the championship recap probably tomorrow, depending. But you'll see the other remaining episodes up ASAP. So until then, I'm out and get ready to enjoy the game a little bit. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, guys. See you later.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you, yeah. I want to thank you. Ooh. For all the times you put up with me. Thank you. And you helped me retain my sanity. Thank you. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you for everything